there has been a little bit of pushback, not necessarily on the game, but more so the voice actor who plays the main protagonist in the game. Now, once again, going over to thatparkplace.com, it says the Ghost of Yotoi protagonist is voiced by radical activist Erika Ishii, who thinks that police are white supremacists and supports transgender ideology. Now, if only you could, like, I'm going to tell you this right now.
She really doesn't know how to like dress herself, does she? It's terrible.
You can definitely judge a book by its cover in this situation.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna throw it out there, you know.
Has she tried
It looks like a hostile read.
she does look like she wants to just start punching the air and hopefully she hits something, you know what I mean? And probably has daddy issues, but who am I to say? I don't know. She'd have to say that herself in therapy. With that said, so they announced this game yesterday, and the main character is Atsu. And this is a person who has had multiple extreme radical posts over on X, as she uses all pronouns in her bio. She's also been, I guess I can say she, because she uses all pronouns. That's good.
Yeah. Progressive.
She's been on a blocking spree.
I love that, though. I love all pronouns. Like, beautiful. Because that means that it's not about any sort of identification whatsoever. It's just literally the trend things. I am everything.
She's all the Jedi, okay?
Mm-hmm. That's right. So she's out there, and she's had many posts over on X. You can see this one going for @BlackGirlsCode, which once again, feel free to make Latino boys code as well, or Asian girls code, or white dudes code at any time. But a respondent says great programs, coding camps, and partnerships with schools to empower, teach, and provide opportunities for Black girls in tech. And then followed up with a Black trans collective that helps pay for rent and gender affirming surgery in the Black LGBTQ community. So we're taking things and we're narrowing it down. So here we are. This is where
this is intersectionality to a T.
Ishii previously promoted the organizations in 2023 as well. Today, please consider supporting For the Gwirls, GWO Gwirls.
What is that?
Is that what you call Black trans people? I mean, I'm legit question. Is this a new word?
Hashtag Gwirl.
Gwirls? I mean, I would say it sounds more like Ebonic for girl. I have no
clue. Okay, it's a slang pronunciation spelling of girl. It's slang. How racist is that? You're relating Black trans people to just slang? I'm gonna die. Hang on.
She literally had to mute. Well, please consider supporting For the Ghouls.
That's hilarious.
That sounds an awful lot like you say that quickly, ghouls. Like, oh, I get it. I'm on board now. Yes, ghouls.
I'm guessing that G, W, and O is supposed to have a U sound. I'm guessing. I don't know. Anyways, our Black trans siblings are especially vulnerable now. And I donated in honor of Juneteenth 2023 and Pride 2023. Please be sure and join me in pledging to do our best to support Black justice year-round. So there we are. That's
hilarious, bro.
Good for them right there.
Girl.
That's right. And then in February 23, ahead of the Hogwarts Legacy release, Ishii appeared to support a failed boycott of the game due to J.K. Rowling's outspoken stance on transgender activists. Ishii wrote, "I used to love Harry Potter. I went to every midnight release, cosplayed, and even had a Harry Potter-themed improv group. Now I'm happy to instead support and be a part of fantasy narratives where all are welcome. Trans community, we deserve our own better magic. I will always fight for that." Wait, so is she trans? Because is this like legit question? Is she a part of the trans community?
She probably considers herself a trans ally.
Okay, I mean, how can she be involved in that if she's not a Goyle? Sorry.
I have no idea. I mean, she's not even black, is she?
I don't know. She looks pretty Asian, but not
Yeah.
someone's gonna be upset at me because I said she looks Asian.
You're profiling. Oh,
Well, ZZM can be upset. That's fine.
oh dear.
All right. She included a video saying "fuck turfs." So there we go. That's nice. And she went down. She's just more than anything. She goes down the rabbit hole. She has some statements about January 6th. Says we will not let these terrorists shake our resolve. 2020 showed us that we will rise up and make our voices heard, despite voter suppression, facing down a white supremacist police force, risking health and safety. We hit the polls and streets and say no more. They can't stop.
That white supremacist police force that stood outside the Biden White House, goddamn them, truly oppresses one and all.
It's rough. Erika, as she continued, says, historically, the answer to an attempted coup is to never acknowledge its legitimacy. We will not ignore this. We will treat these terrorist thugs like an unlawful mob that they are and hold accountable those responsible for this.
All right, now let's talk about the summer of love.
Arch, what are you talking about, you crazy loon? But not only is she just throwing things out on X, she's also mad at YouTube here. Now this comes from March 15th. Says this is coming after the 2019 shootings and the Christchurch, New Zealand, and that in response to YouTube said, our hearts are broken over today's terrible tragedy in New Zealand. Please know that we are working vigilantly to remove any violent footage. She responded with I hope now you understand you have a responsibility not to give hatred a voice. Islamophobia and white supremacy do not deserve a platform. The site allows people to disseminate good messages and create loving communities. Protect those. Don't give power to messages of hate.
Does she realize how many of the Chicago shootings get published every weekend? She's so funny.
That's right. But on top of that, she's obviously is on top of hiring Ishii. Sucker Punch hired former Insomniac Games community manager and Sweet Baby Inc. defender Thomas Hart to be the company's community manager beginning April 2024. Hart announced he joined Sucker Punch, writing on X. Incredibly excited to announce today that I'm the first day at Sucker Punch as community manager. And there we go. So long and short, this is the voice actor for this new game. So, a lot of people have been very critical of this, and this person obviously has been very critical of a lot of people, right? And I've said this many times. I don't care what people believe as long as it's not put into their final product, right? And Blabs, I think you're on the same wavelength when it comes to that.
Yep, 100%. Like I said, all I saw was the trailer yesterday. I knew nothing about the actress until this morning, and I still stand by the trailer. Looks cool. That's all there is to it. I didn't see anything of some type of estrogen-filled trailer or anything. She just happened to be a woman. There was nothing I'm a man. None of that stuff. It was just a chick. Right. Now, I understand people who want to save their money, who are like, I don't want to support this. Totally get it. With your wallet.
Yeah, absolutely. If you don't want to support this person, totally get it. Because of their ideology, because of their involvement in this game. With that said, I have news for you. If you were to go down to every voice actor in the video game space, pretty much every voice actor is going to be saying pretty much the exact same stuff.
Or a good chunk of them, yeah.
Yeah, 80%, 90%, right? And those who aren't saying it, are fearful to say anything. So, but like I said, I certainly have no problem with people saying I'm not going to play the game simply because this person's involved in it. Arch, what's your thoughts on that? Whereas as far as voting with your wallet along, would you not buy a game based off of a voice actor's involvement in it?
I would wait and see, because the thing with this is these people have not just differing worldviews; they have very strident worldviews. Actually, it's okay. So I looked into this a little bit recently for one of my videos, and I'll bring this up now because it might be interesting. Have either of you heard about moral foundations theory, created by
No.
Jonathan Haidt? He had a very interesting idea where he thought that the majority of our moral opinions came from a handful of values, which he defined as things like harm, fairness, loyalty, authority, and purity, right? And we're not going to go into the definition of those here because they're broader. But what he found was that conservatives, so self-proclaimed conservatives, valued all of these values roundabout equally. So they saw all of them. Whereas self-labeled progressives only saw harm and fairness, and they ignored loyalty, they ignored authority, and they ignored purity, to the point where they didn't even see them as positive forces. So that's kind of elucidates the issue where you're trying to have a conversation with somebody who literally does not see the world like you do. And they view the way you see the world as actually evil because they view 3 out of the 5 values you hold as outright negative. That's why they view you as actually bad. That's why these people probably cannot coexist in an environment. Like if you bring in a voice actress like this, she's not going to be able to cooperate with somebody unless they conform to her worldview. This in turn is why we see this spread so quickly, because you see cancel culture, you see aggressive attempts to convince people. They cannot live in the same environment because they see somebody they think is bad, like actually bad, and they try to fix them.
I think that if you were to look at the gaming industry as a whole and you were to break down the demographics of it, right? Whether that's, multiple different ways of demographics, whether it's race, sex, sexual identity, whatever it may be. I would say that the video game industry as a whole is not an accurate representation of what society actually looks like. And that is why we've seen the games that we've seen released over the last little bit, right? Because when this ideology really came to fruition, that's why we're seeing, that's when these people were hired along the way. And this is pointed out by Jacobs, is it's a bad start, but just wait and see. Grum said the games we're getting now is when woke is at its peak. So keep an eye out. Very true, right? We're looking at games that were started development 3-4 years ago, right? 2020, 2021. So we'll see how that's received, in the next little bit.
And it might not affect it. There is the possibility, because the reason why this wasn't a problem early on in games development, like the 2000s, etc., was because of our idea of basically enforced neutrality, the tyranny of neutrality, where it was considered taboo to bring up matters of religion or politics because everybody knew it was divisive. Don't talk politics or religion at the gaming table. Like, okay, simple. And then everybody got along. But that rule has sadly disappeared.